Neil?
Hi, how are you, Adam? My name's Neil.
Welcome to another episode of Don't Shit on the Bus. This week we have the wonderful, the amazing Tyler Posey.
He is not as hairy as I thought he would be, you know, being a Teen Wolf and all.
Yeah, he's awesome.
It's fucking rad.
We got connected to Tyler through our friend Fish, so just want to say thank you, Fish, for connecting us. Tyler is another person from the music industry, plays in bands, has a really cool journey, but my favorite part of honestly hanging out with him was just sitting back, relaxing, and hearing you guys chat about Blink-182 and the music industry and all the good stuff.
I mean, we basically found out that we're best friends and like we have the same interests, and like everything that we decided to do in our life is from the same influences. Like we're like, hey, we have this sense of humor because, I mean, Blink-182. And then we're like, hey, we like to play guitar like this because, you know, Blink-182. And then we're like, oh, yeah, and we're best friends now because, you know, Blink-182. It's just how it works.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. And I wish that, like, don't get me wrong, I knew the Blink-182 songs growing up, as everybody did. But I'm not a musician, so I think to an extent I just couldn't relate on a super personal level. But to be honest, it really made me appreciate the atmosphere of our podcast and how we have me and you and the different takes. And I'm sure there'll be an episode in the future we have a photographer on, and it's, you know, 60 me and 40 you.
I mean,
but
we had Ashley.
Nice.
That's the kind of what it was like when we had Ashley Osborne.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, how did I forget about that? But it's like, it's fun. It's cool. Like it's, and like, I'm not like at the end of the episode, I'm like, Neil, why did you talk so much? It was just so fun. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, kind of getting to talk to someone like that does have those same influences and they're from a completely different part of the world. And it kind of just affirms that like, oh, okay, this is like normal. I don't feel like such an outcast. Like there's all of these outcasts from all over the world and we have all of this thing in common. And I've said this kind of before on Twitter and stuff, but I think that Blink-182 is probably one of the most influential bands through pop culture, music, humor, all of it wrapped into one. They just nailed it. Like they've affected so many people, and it's really cool to be able to catch up with someone like Tyler from a completely different walk of life and have so much in common with him and just feel like, hey, man, we vibe. We get it, you know? And that was cool that you kind of noticed that. I mean, I was just geeking out. I'm like, you like Blink as much as I do? This is sick. But yeah.
Yes. Neil, I have an idea, a kind of crazy idea, but I think you might be down.
What is it?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Right now, we've had Mark Hoppus on the podcast. I say that before episode 100, we get every member of Blink-182 on the podcast.
I think we could do it.
I think we could.
All right. Well, this podcast is fucking rad. It's our good friend Tyler, and we can say that after this podcast because really it was just a really cool conversation. And if you've ever seen the movie Step Brothers, it was like that scene where they're like, did we just become best friends? And
Did we
then
just become best friends?
Yeah. And then it's like, do you want to go do karate in the garage? And we were like, yeah. And then we were like, let's do this podcast first, and then let's do it. So,
and speaking of becoming best friends, we had some new best friends join us this week in the form of patrons.
We did.
And if you have not signed up for our Patreon, it's patreon.com/DSOTB, or you can just go to don'tshitonthebus.com. And there's a link on there. But Neil, hit them with some names.
Liz, Zach, Carlin, Lappy. These are hard. Emily, Kaylee, Linda. And thank you, Ashley, for bringing all your friends from Discord into our Discord. Means a lot.
Yes. And lately we've been having people that we know from the touring industry, crew, people like that, jump in on the Discord and just talk for an hour, answer some questions. So just a good place to get involved a little bit more if this is something you're serious about. And of course, we really appreciate your support. Thank you for giving back and letting us do this podcast we love to do.
Get on the bus.
All right. And with that being said, here is a very fun podcast with our friend Tyler Posey, Neil Westfall, and a lot of things about Blink-182.
What's that guy's name? Yeah.
Anwar.
Yeah, that he like knows the craziest shit about. He's like, so when you were in fourth grade and you said that thing to your teacher, what did you mean? And you're like, I'm like, what the fuck? How the fuck
What the fuck, dude?
Who this guy? I think he calls people's mothers or something beforehand and like gets the inside somehow.
Gets the dirt.
Yeah, my mom would be like, yo, I'll tell you whatever you want. Come on, Joy.
It's good to know, dude.
Yeah.
Gonna hit your mom up at some point.
Oh, God. She's going to tell you the most embarrassing shit. She's like, Neil just wanted to be Mark Hoppus, and then now he's here.
Dude, that's not embarrassing. I wanted to be Tom DeLonge.
Yeah.
I even have these stripes. I filled them in now.
The stripes, dude.
But I was like, I don't want to get them here. I want to move them up a little bit. And this is the first note of Dick Lips.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's fucking... Dude, Neil, show him yours.
I love that song.
You gotta show them. You guys can relate. You guys can relate on
Blink-182 on my knuckles.
Sick. Fucking love that, dude.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a little bit more vague, I guess. You know?
I mean, ours was like, we were on tour with Bayside, and
So sick.
and they're like, yo, we'll give you free tattoo if you want. And our other guitar players, like, we actually both were going to get Blink-182 on our knuckles, which would have been really stupid in hindsight now that I'm thinking about it. But he's like, I'll get Thug Life on mine because I like Tupac. I'm like, that's pretty dope. I'm like, Blink-182 fits perfect. I'm still getting that. So, and then it happened.
I fucking love it, dude. I don't think you should regret it at all.
Oh, I mean, only like on Thursdays do I regret it, really.
That makes sense.
Every other day I'm cool with it completely.
Yeah, I can see that.
1/7 of the time. There's no significance to Thursday, right? I'm not like missing out on a joke. You just picked a
I
day.
don't think.
No.
I didn't even think about that. I didn't make that connection at all.
Nah.
All right,
You
cool.
know, it's just Thursdays. Those
Well,
days.
hey, thank God it's Friday.
Yeah,
right?
no, I'm pretty good with it today.
Yeah.
Chilling.
Stoked about those tattoos.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I don't have any Blink tattoos, unfortunately. But I appreciate
We
your
can
guys'
change
love
that.
for Blink. Yeah, I could change that. I got room.
Let's do
Dude,
it.
I even have the mini Tom DeLonge Stratocaster right here.
Oh, dude, I actually bought the Tom DeLonge Stratocaster at my local Guitar Center. They didn't know what they had. It was like, they're like, this shitty fucking one humbucker Fender, $300. I'm like,
No
are
way.
you
Was this
fucking
after they
kidding me?
discontinued it?
This was like a year ago.
No fucking way.
It was like
You found a gem.
Trash, dude. It was like fucked up. I'm like, I have like a full studio. I can go and like fix everything. So I went and like found out it was a black one, and then I found out that it was the
Dope.
seafoam green under the black. So like I relicked it, so it just looks like the seafoam green's kind of like shining through the black. It's pretty
Whoa.
good.
Really cool. I've got the seafoam green right there.
It's the fucking
Right
one.
there.
It's the one.
It's so cool, dude. Even the yellow one too, I thought was really dope. They're all fucking sick.
I know, man. They
want 'em.
like. The funny thing is, like, they're like not stoked on those. Mark's like giving them away and shit, and Tom's like, "Yeah, I play Gibson. I don't care about those."
Really, there's just something so, I don't know. Maybe because they were impacted our lives so much when we were younger.
Whenever like now, I just see it and I'm like, "This is like the perfect guitar."
I
like
agree,
my signature guitar is like literally based off that. I'm like, man, if I had this but just a Les Paul, that'd be perfect. And then ESP's like, "Yeah, I'll do that for you."
Sick. So dope. I didn't know that. I gotta get it.
I'll
I
send
don't-
you. They just sold out of them, but I'll send whenever they make them again. I'll send you a little email.
That would be gnarly. I
Oh,
don't have a
that'd be
Les
sick.
Paul. That's the only thing I don't have for some. I have a left-handed Les Paul, but that
Those
doesn't
are
work.
hard.
I can't do that. It's my friend's. He left it here.
So,
All right, cool. Now that we caught up.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool though, because it sounds like even if music wasn't your first career, you've been into music. I mean, everybody's into music for a long time, but were you trying to be a musician prior to your career in acting, or do you know what I mean? Or?
So I got really into both kind of around the same time. My dad's an actor and a writer.
Cool.
And has been since before I was born. And then I have this older brother who's like 12 years older than I am. So he was introduced to like Sublime, loved Metallica. And so that kind of like really opened my musical doors up to something that wasn't, old school classic folky. Cause my first concert was Peter, Paul and Mary. I was like 5 years old. My pops, we sang like Puff the Magic Dragon.
That's sick.
Puff the Magic. And so like my dad, like he's got great taste in music, fucking Credence and Neil Young.
The best.
So I had that side from my dad, but then my brother kind of introduced me to the newer shit. And then I filmed a TV show in Canada when I was like 9 years old, and I didn't have many kids my age on the show. So I was like pretty bored most of the time. And Canada was dope. I was living in Toronto, and I'm sure you've toured there. Toronto's
Yes.
so cool for some reason. It has such a good grunge scene. And especially back then when I was younger, it was like a bunch of skaters and like punk music.
How long were you there?
Long time. So like I was there on and off for 4 years.
Okay.
Oh,
But
nice.
so like 12 years old, I finished the show, but early into it, I discovered, or I found a love for Blink-182 before I started that show. But I started going to all these CD stores when CD stores were still the shit. And they had like this 3 rows of Blink, Dude Ranch, which I just figured out. I don't know if you guys knew this. Dude Ranch is semen. Did you know that? I had no idea.
I actually found that like
Oh,
pretty
wow.
recently too, and I was like, holy shit.
I did
picturing
it
like
kind
a
of
ranch
fucked
with
me up.
animals.
That's fucking weird.
It's
kinda
but
sick.
it's great. I love it. I just because it's Dude Ranch alone is kind of funny, but then like with that, okay. So yeah, I just started listening to a bunch of Blink. I bought the Mick Ticker, the Mark Tom and Travis show before they discontinued it. Had fucking all the Blink documentaries, VHSs, the VHS versions of them. So I got into music when I was really, really young, around like 9 years old. I found my passion and love for punk and Blink, and they introduced me to NoFX and then everybody else.
They were your gateway drug.
They're like the best band to get into because they were so open about all the bands that influenced them. They're like you watch those like VHS, they're like Tom's like Screeching Weasel, Mark's like Pennywise, and all these different like NoFX, and like I remember just like I had like a notepad. I'm just like watching. I'm like, all right, so when I go to FYE, I'm gonna go look for Screeching Weasel, all Descendants,
Love it,
like
dude.
found them all, and it's
I know exactly the moment you're talking about.
well, it's sick because they literally, and I think it was probably around the same time. It was like I'm like, this is what I want to do. This is how I'm gonna do it. I'm like, these guys are the best. If I could be with my friends and do this kind of shit, I'm like, I don't want to do anything else.
Yeah, dude, it changed my life. Their charisma, and it was so charming, and like I just wanted to be a part of that. And another thing for me is like when I was that age, I was pretty. I don't know how. I didn't like being an actor that much because I grew up in a small town in Los Angeles, but it was like north of Los Angeles in suburbia, and I didn't like feeling different from like my close homies and kind of got picked on a little bit by kids that I don't know, like a little bit, but not that bad. But it was enough for me to be like, yo, I don't dig this. And then like I didn't like a lot of the actors, you know, because there's like this stigma about them. And when I was a kid, I noticed it a lot, and it's still kind of there. So I just wanted to separate as far as I could. And then like I found punk through Blink, and then I just fell in love with that. I was just like, okay, that's who I want to be. That's where I feel like I fit in.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, fucking started
It's like
playing.
the little misfit clique, you know? It's like everyone's fucking weird and different. It didn't matter as long as you're just there fucking listening to music or going to shows, or like everyone's like weird, different, and it didn't matter. That's kind of how it was where I was from. And
that's how it was for me. My friends now, so I've still got my close like 12 group of 12 friends that I've had since I was like 15 years old. And it's because we were like the potheads, and if you smoked weed, we were cool with you. You could have been in any clique, any type of person. But like I realized in high school that like cliques kind of segregated themselves and like didn't really let anyone else in, but we were just like, fuck it, dude, come hang out with us. That's still like the same kind of like, that's like the Blink vibe.
it is. I think I said this the other day, and I still kind of believe it, but I think that like Blink-182 is like one of the bigger influences on our entire generation, whether like people realize it or not. You know, like just like influencing humor and influencing like all these like young kids to get into like punk music in general, skateboarding. Like it was kind of like all encompassed within
the whole lifestyle.
them, and they were just being themselves, and they were like, it's cool to be like this. And I'm like, whoa, like I'm like that. And I did, and then like found them, and I'm like, whoa, there's other people that are like this too. And then like when I started going to school, I felt pretty kind of by myself in my school, but there was like a bunch of schools around the area, and that's kind of how I got in. Like I met the dudes in A Day to Remember. It was kind of the same thing. It was just like we just liked music, you know, and it was like that was our vibe, and that was the thing that kind of like connected everybody. And it didn't matter. Like our bass player Josh was he's like a baseball player jock dude, but like loved Coheed and Cambria. And I'm like, I like Coheed.
What a combo.
He was like obsessed with them and like Incubus and like.
Fuck yeah, dude.
But it was just like the music aspect that like brought us all together, and that's what's so cool about that, you know? It's like it can do that.
It's dope, dude. That's what it's like that with me and my friends too. My hometown had a pretty decent like punk and ska scene when we were kids, and we had.
What's your hometown?
Santa Clarita.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Like Valencia. So when we were younger, there was just like a surge of ska and punk, and we had all these local venues that we would play at. But that's how I met a lot of my close friends now. Like one of my best friends who's still my bassist. I've been friends since I was a kid, and he's like falls in line with my group that like, oh, there's the pothead group, and it's just so cool growing up that way, dude.
Wait, when did you start playing music then?
I was about 12 years old when I started taking it really seriously. There's like this local music shop that used to be there, and I bought my first guitar, this Telecaster right here, dude. Look at this. It's so cool.
Oh, wow. 70s. 70s Deluxe or something like
yeah,
that.
72 Thin Line, Semi Hollow. I was like,
So
they
sick.
made this in the 70s. This thing's vintage as fuck, but I don't think that's the case. The pickups, the screws came out, so it's like I held it in by duct tape, and the duct tape was fucking worn off. All the fucking
It just has a story, you can
knobs came
tell.
off. Yeah,
He
I felt
looks at it and it,
Personality.
these
Yeah.
chips right here. I fell asleep with it one time because I was like 12, and I loved it. It was on my bed and it fell off, and I didn't have carpet, and just like it woke me up. The sound was crazy.
Oh.
So I started playing guitar and bass like when I was like 12 years old at my local music shop. For like 6 months, I took lessons, but they just taught me Newfound Glory. The new Newfound Glory album that has Catalyst on it came out.
Oh yeah, All Downhill From Here.
All Downhill, yeah.
All down.
Such a good.
Oh, wait, is that the name of the album or is that a song?
That's Catalyst.
Oh,
Is,
yeah,
is
that's
the
the
album called
lyrics.
Catalyst? Yeah.
The
I'm
album
on
is
Google.
Catalyst, right?
Yeah,
What is
album.
that? What is-
Fourth
what is
album,
that?
2004.
It's called Catalyst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that
Starts with that
album's
hardcore song. That album's sick.
It's so good, dude.
Damn. Old Newfound Glory really hits differently than I miss that a lot. I like them.
What do you think's changed? Is it the guitar, how the guitars are different now, or it's just
Neil could probably tell us. I don't know.
The guitar
Music
player that
is-
was in the band, he wrote a lot of lyrics
Yeah.
and melodies.
I just
kinda
I just figured that out the other day.
he was a big part of like the vocal production and like how like the vocals sounded and the writing process behind all that.
Uh-huh.
And I think that like Chad wrote the majority of the music and kind of did a lot of the producing. And then whenever fucking Steve left the band, it kind of just all of their responsibilities like in the writing process kind of shifted, and they all kind of like picked up the slack. And now it just sounds like a little different, but it still sounds like Newfound Glory.
Yeah,
It's like
I was just gonna
Jordan's on
say
it.
that. It's like it's the same shit. I fucking love it. I love their new
Same.
shit.
All right.
But
I hope I
but,
didn't sound like
it's-
an asshole. I was just respecting the old stuff.
No. Their old shit. It's different. It has a way different hit to it. So yeah, I learned guitar, bass at the same time for like 6 months, and then they weren't teaching me how to read music. I learned tabs, I think, but I didn't know how to read music notes, and they were just teaching me these songs. And so at one point I was just like, I think I could do this on my own. And so I got really good at just like hearing shit by ear and learning how to play it, and then just ended up teaching myself. So I was like around 12 years old and then started playing punk bands. Toothless Sidekicks was my first band name.
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
It's stupid fucking
My first band name was way worse than that. It was called Magic Chinese.
sick. That's not bad at all.
I don't know if worse, but it's pretty, no, I'm just kidding. Not
No,
worse.
I don't
It's
even
better.
know why.
They're
We
both
literally
better.
just watched Blink videos and we're like, we want to be like them. This sounds like something they would name it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I felt the same way. Toothless Sidekicks. The fuck? I don't know.
I like that. These are both great band names. I don't know why you guys are hating on them.
We
Bring
should
them
do a
back.
demo. Yeah, we'll do a
Yeah.
demo.
Joe
Split.
Slab, split. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the original members from back in the day.
Oh man.
So you did this. This was like what you did, like to feel like this was what you wanted to do in between like acting, and like whenever you were like by yourself, like in between shooting, you would just go play guitar or just write music or.
Yeah, all the time, dude. So like, it wasn't what I thought I wanted to do in place of acting. I still found, my dad got me into acting. He didn't force me into it. I volunteered at like a pretty young age. I was like 6, and I was like, I think I want to try this because I would go. My dad would babysit me sometimes and take me to hit the sets he was working on, and
Oh, that's cool.
and so I didn't. And I wasn't fazed by it. I was like, this is kind of interesting. At least that's the story. I don't remember it. I was 6 years old.
Oh yeah.
So, but I did eventually find that, I dig acting. There's elements that I really hate, and there's elements that are pretty cool. And I think it's just because like I like being creative, and so music fell in line with that. And so I would always bring my guitar to set. I started recording at a really young age. At like 12, I had this little 8-track recorder, and I would record. It didn't have a click or anything on it, so I would like grab my mic, record click from I think my metronome. Like this was before phones had metronomes, and I just had like my classic one, and like recorded the metronome, and then recorded to the click, and then just like layered it for like 8 times and just built it. And then I graduated to like this bigger 12-track one that had a CD burner in it. I was like, I can make my own fucking CDs.
Damn, that's sick.
It was cool. And then I like bought stickers to like put on the blank CDs, and it was so punk, dude. It was so much fun.
I was just listening to like a Benny Blanco interview last night about him doing the same thing. Like he was like, I had like 2 stereos, and I would like record one part to one and then like play it back to the other one and then record it to that one. Then I would keep going and layering them. And I'm like, dude, everyone's like way more resourceful than I was. I was like, back then it was just like, I think we had like this graphic productions class where we like were able to screen print our own t-shirts. And so I went to Walmart and bought t-shirts and then sold them just so we could go to a studio to record. Cause I was like, I don't know how to do this shit. I'm like,
that's resourceful though too, dude. Getting your shit printed like that. I never did that. I focused
it was
on
like, it was just, I guess it's like one of those things where you do what you have to, cause it means so much.
You make it
Like,
work.
of course. Absolutely,
Yeah.
dude. I went with the other way. I didn't do the soft merch.
I should have learned to record that. Yeah.
Did you ever tour with those earlier projects, or was it not till later in your career? Like after, I mean, I looked up and it looked like you were on Teen Wolf for a good steady 8 years. I imagine that was time consuming. Did you tour throughout that time at all, or did you wait till that was over? What was your music career?
I started these bands when I was like 12 years old, and we would play at my that music shop that I would take lessons at. They had an open mic night, and those were my first like live performances. In front of like a bunch of moms and shit. Like my fucking rowdy punk friends were there.
That's awesome though.
It was fun, dude. And then started graduating to like, our local venues that were really fucking punk. I was around like 16, 17, and then got Teen Wolf at like 18, and the band was like not taking off by any means, but I was like, I still want to I got this. This is my band. I can't quit this. And so like, went to go film Teen Wolf. Met my drummer, who is Dylan O'Brien. He plays my best friend on the show. Or sorry, he's not my drummer, but he's a drummer. And he told me about this studio over in Riverside that has like decent quality, pretty cheap. And so as soon as I got back from Teen Wolf, I was like, yo guys, I got this studio space. Let's go over there. We can spend the night. They have like this like classic bunk bed situation for these bands, and they just like stay inside their house. It's like these like it's like this older couple. This dude like records. And so we stayed in these bunk beds, recorded, and played a few shows. But after Teen Wolf came out, I started playing like at the Roxy. Like they were like, yeah, let's come down. Let's try it out. And then we started selling it out a few times. So they just kept having us back.
That's sick.
It was dope, dude.
That must have felt so good.
It was so fun, man. The coolest part is when they started singing the lyrics. At first, like they didn't know any of the songs. Then we started releasing some stuff. I think through MySpace, dude.
Yeah.
What was your band name? What was the band name of this?
That band was Lost in Costco.
Okay.
like the store. I got lost in Costco when I was like 15 or something with one of my friends. His mom freaked the fuck out.
That's a great band name.
It's funny, right? So I played a little bit. I never toured. We went to Petaluma for a show, which is up north in California, but never toured with that band. I didn't start touring until after Teen Wolf ended, because I could not find 2.5 months.
Just solid, like to be able to get away.
Yeah. I couldn't commit to something that far in advance. You gotta like commit to tours pretty far out before they happen. Yeah. And I just could not give the go ahead, to do something like that. So I put the music down for a little bit, or just at least the band. I kept it going, writing, producing, and recording. But yeah, touring just more recently started happening like 3 years ago.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, when I was writing the interview or trying to like think about questions, it was really hard for me to even envision what your life was like being on a show so consistently for 8 years. And it sounds like it was pretty time consuming. Like you couldn't do anything else professionally if you really wanted to. Do you think you could give a brief overview of what your life was like just working that much on a show? Do you know what I mean?
So it was pretty routine for me, dude. Like I said, I started acting on that show in Canada when I was like 8 years old, and that lasted till I was 12. And it's I was a kid, so I couldn't work like 12 hours a day until I was 12 or something like that. Like it changed every time I grew, and it was in Canada, so the laws were a little bit different. So that was a good learning experience for me to like really understand a set, being on them for long hours and being cool with it. So by the time Teen Wolf came around, I was older. I was 18. I'd still been working for a long time. I was pretty stoked about it. Like, and again, acting for me is something that it's a love-hate thing. Like, I don't feel like I'm doing that much,
Like when you're doing the show?
Yeah. When I'm acting in general, like I'll be sitting down, like waiting to go. And there's all these like people like carrying heavy machinery. And I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm just sitting here. Do you guys need help with that? They're like, no, you're not supposed to. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right, dude. And so the fact that I got to work long hours and it be like a really time consuming show kind of made me feel it was a rewarding experience, and And it did, you know, when I had time off, I did kind of try to fill it with, I was always playing music. My homie on the show is a drummer and a really good drummer. And he had a punk band too when we were kids, and we just really clicked. And so I brought an electric kit up to Atlanta, and I brought my guitar, and so we would jam all the time. So I was keeping fresh. I wasn't rusty, but I was stoked about it. Time consuming. The months that I had off, I would try to work on other projects. Record music.
So music was kind of your side hustle when acting took over. You're like, all right, I can't be in my band right now. I can't tour, but by no means am I going to stop this thing I'm passionate about.
Yeah. And then we even got this. So another thing about what's weird is that since I didn't grow up in the music business, I think everybody kind of has this experience, but a manager, I didn't understand what a music manager was. I didn't know who to go to at all. And so like if somebody were to come out the woodwork and just be like, approach me and be like, hey, I would love to manage you. I'd be like, fucking cool, let's do it. You know?
Sign me up.
Sign me up. Could have been anybody. And so that's kind of what happened. And this dude, like, I've had experiences like that before I really started figuring out, I'm like, okay, all right, I need to figure out how to, like, I need to talk to people that are in the business, find managers through them, and then, you know, shop around. But like, you know, I kept saying yes to a lot of people, and some of them were really cool, who I have a good relationship with now. It was actually the owner of Atticus. Blink sold it to him. And
I think I met that guy whenever they had the Melrose store.
I think you did. Well, this dude's from London.
Yes, I had definitely met him. Yeah.
Or he's from Australia, but he lives in London. So he managed me for a while.
He has an accent. I know that for a fact, and I know that we were gonna work on some stuff for a little while, but I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, so he managed us for a little while, and he's just not a band manager. Mm-hmm. And
because you can only get so far when it's not like their full-time thing, right? Like you can have like the person that kind of knows the right direction to like direct you in and can get you some cool stuff, you know, like if you're willing to go and work and do the stuff. But it's like if it's not a person's like full-time thing, they don't have those connections, right? Like they go
yeah, exactly. And
further.
that's what it is. You know, I mean, he owned Atticus, which was fucking sick. We were able to have like our merch on Atticus clothing,
which is the sickest thing.
Which is the sickest thing in the world, dude.
Yeah.
We were going to try to bring the Atticus van back from Riding in Vans with Boys.
Oh my God, dude. Cut You Up was sick. Sorry.
I played on my last show that I played with my band was with Cut You Up.
I would have I would have been like, this is the coolest shit.
It was so sick. I hopped on stage with them, sang, and then crowd surfed, like, and they carried me all throughout the fucking venue. It was so fun. It was in San Diego too.
Man.
Damn.
So cool.
San Diego. That's where I live currently.
That's like those little things are like the cool thing about
Belly Up.
It's like maybe the person's not like the best manager, right? But like having something like that, it's like, yeah, this is worth it. These are experiences that I would never get if it wasn't for this, you know?
Yeah, and he's a good dude.
I would like listening to your experience being on set. Like, is it like you know when you film like a music video? Is it similar to that where it's like a hurry up and wait kind of thing? Where it's like,
absolutely, dude.
You got to be ready by 5 p.m. and it's like really you're like not really needed until like 8 p.m. but you still got to be there and you can't leave.
Yeah, it's a trip. It's a lot to schedule. So like usually there's two people that kind of talk about the schedule. It's like the director and the first AD. And then the first AD kind of is like, all right, I have to fucking figure this thing out. So like the crew usually gets there, say at 5 to set everything up. And so they're just like, might as well like bring pretty much everybody in at that time. But the crew still has to set up for lighting, the camera, figure out what they're going to be filming, you know, so there's a lot to happen. And then it takes more for like a set to get set ready than a person.
Right. Yeah.
So it is a major hurry up and wait thing. And like,
so you had a ton of time.
I had a shitload of time. That's
fucking awesome. That's cool that you found the dude to play drums with, because it's like not having that like person to kind of mirror that energy with is like, that'd be hard. I feel like.
Yeah, I'm sure, dude. I mean, like, I probably still would have had fun and brought my guitar, but it definitely helped progress somehow, you know, keep me not rusty.
Yeah.
It was great.
It's like playing guitar by yourself and then playing with somebody else is like light years better for like practice, for playing shows, like even like writing, like having ideas. You're like for me, it's like I'll like write like a whole song or something. I'll show someone and they're like, well, this is cool. That's like kind of whatever. But if you're like doing it together, you can kind of like be like in the moment, you're like, well, what if we did this here? And it just like kind of like progresses it so much further, so much faster, so much more rewarding. I feel like
it is, dude. Yeah. I'm really happy that he was there. It was nice. And we grew up on the same stuff. His favorite band was like Incubus.
Oh, nice.
Rage.
Yeah.
So it was fun. He's a good drummer.
That's nice. Whenever I meet somebody and I can just be like, hey, do you go to Warped Tour? They'd be like, yes. I'd be like, okay, we could be friends. Like, you get it. Like, I could talk to you about these bands. You could like get the life. Like, there's so many. And it's kind of like, I know this might be a stretch, but it's kind of like the smoking weed thing. And Neil and I have talked about this. All the people we met in our early years on Warped Tour smoked weed. And it's not that we just like people who smoke weed, but they'd be like, hey, you want to smoke? Yeah, let's smoke. And then you just chill. And there was
We had
no
the
like
lizard crew.
Yeah, we had called Lizard Crew. We all have lizard tattoos and shit from it. But it was like that was our 12, you know, like similar. And did you ever have time to go to Warped Tour?
Oh, dude, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, hell
yeah. Fucking loved it. That's the thing. So like when I was growing up, since I did grow up in a small town and I didn't really feel comfortable being an actor, I wanted to make sure that like I lived like as much of a normal kid as I could. So I was homeschooled a lot, and I always made sure I was like, okay, I gotta go to fucking junior high. I would go to junior high for like a month and a half and either get like in trouble or I would start working again, acting. And I was like, I have to fucking leave. So, and then high school would come around. I'm like, please, I have to go to high school. And so, wait, what was the question?
We were just talking about kind of
Warped Tour.
Warped Tour, yeah.
Warped Tour, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Warped Tour was another thing. I was, watching all these Blink documentaries and I had this one buddy of mine who was a Blink head also. And we just loved Blink, he played guitar. So we would jam all the time with each other. He was Mark, I was Tom.
Yes.
And we went to Warped Tour for the first time when we were 14 years old in Ventura. And his dad just dropped us off, dude. I had my long dickies, my socks, some Blink shirt or something, I think, or a skate shirt.
Some Hurley
big
shirt
hat,
or something.
Ventura's such a good venue too. On the water.
Dude, it was beautiful.
So nice.
Walking into the parking lot, immediately get hit with pot smoke, and I've only smoked a couple times at this point. And then these older dudes were like drinking in the parking lot, had a little cooler. And I was walking by and I was like all pumped to my home. And like, this is so cool. And the guys were like, hey, you want a beer? And I was like, to my friend, I was like, absolutely. He was like, all right. So tosses it to me. And I remember, I caught it in this perfect grab. The condensation was like dripping off my hand. It was like,
it's like a Bud Light commercial.
It was, dude. I cracked it open and he's like, wait, hold on. And this is true. He's like, you gotta chug it, dude. I was like, okay, dude. So sick.
Oh God. And you're 14?
I was 14 years old. I started chugging it and he's like, grab your nuts, dude. He's like, every time you chug a beer, you gotta grab your nuts. And I was like, okay. So one, it was a great leading intro to my first Warped Tour experience. Two, I can't chug a beer without grabbing my nuts now.
You were taught the correct way. He's not wrong.
I want to meet that guy.
I want to meet him too. I wonder what happened to him.
You changed your life.
It's like Roger from Less Than Jake or something. He was just like every stop from Warped Tour, he's like,
hey,
bro,
a little kid drunk.
Teaching him how to fucking chug.
But it was dope, dude. So so my first Warped Tour experience, 14, I think it was 2014. No, wait, sorry, fuck, I'm way off. It was 2006.
You were 14 years old.
I was
14,
yeah.
So it was 2006. Yeah.
91, yeah.
And Rise Against was opening, and they were the first band. It was like 11:30, I think. And I've been to like a Green Day show before, but I was never in a pit.
Yeah.
And but I was
Warped Tour's
down.
good at that.
I thought
Warped Tour is like you're just in it. It's just
yeah, dude. Yeah. Just so much stale pot smoke smell, sweat. It's all hot. You're tiny. Your hair's all fucking sweaty, and then your eyes and shit. And then like Rise Against, there was this pit that started happening around me because I was pretty close to the front. And this pit formed around me, and there's just one dude with no shirt on, just like all elbows. His elbows were just this blur. I was like, Jesus Christ, I gotta get away from him. So I started backing out of the pit, but they pushed me back in, and I was like, okay, fuck it, I'm here. I might as well just start pushing people. Started pushing some people, and then the elbows hits me right in the jaw, and like I chipped my tooth.
Oh
I was
God.
like spitting out blood and tooth, and it still chipped a little bit, but it went up this way instead of like crooked. So it's just like a little piece of it shaved off. But I have a little.
You did Warped Tour.
I did, yeah.
You really did
great.
the damn thing.
And then went pretty much every
And then it turned 11
that.
a.m. This is all before 11 a.m. at Warped Tour. It's like early morning. Like,
oh, dude, yeah.
That's
Warped Tour is the only place where like a band like Rise Against is playing at 11:30.
I know, right? It was so cool. It was so. I was even weirded out. I was like, Rise Against at 11:30, dude. What the fuck? And it was just, dude, the energy, that like. Not anxiety, but just like this excitement, nervous. I've never been to a show like this before, and I've seen fucking documentaries and videos about it for years, and finally here, and we have no parents, dude, and I just drank a fucking beer and got chipped in the face with an elbow. I remember I grabbed it was my favorite hat. I was with my homie. I just fucking tossed it like into the crowd or on stage, And it was like a very symbolic way of me saying, I'm part of you now. Or
Yeah, that was like your sacrifice to the.
Yeah. So
That's awesome.
it got me deep, dude. Warped Tour changed my fucking life big time.
Was that the year that like they had the drive-through record stage?
I think so. Yeah, dude.
That
2006.
That year of it's funny because that year of Warped Tour changed my life as well. I was like, I remember going and just like seeing Newfound Glory, and like Chad got off the stage. He like grabbed the mud. You know, it's like you know, Warped Tour. I don't know if in California it like basically never rains there, but every year in Florida, 3:00 Warped Tour, it rains like every year, no matter what.
Yeah.
Just fucking disgusting. Everyone's got mud. Chad's like, I want to be like one of you guys. I'm gonna be a mud person. We're all like, yeah, dude, he's gonna be a fucking mud person. Jumps down. We're like, what the fuck? I'm like, no other tours like that, you know? And it's like, it's crazy how it just affected, like, we all are from different places. Like, Adam's from Wisconsin. And it just was that moment. It was like that defining moment where, like, we have to be a part of this.
It brings everyone together, man. Warped Tour. It was like that was like the music high school. Like you were trying to go to regular school. As long as you make it to Warped Tour, you're gonna find your way. Because it is such like it's so much coming of age all clumped into one day, and it's like I don't know. I feel like you evolve there. You're like, all right,
dude. I think so.
Did you get a chance to play Warped Tour?
Yeah, so I played the last year before it was the anniversary. So the last full real run. I played in Ventura, which was just like.
That's crazy.
That's where it started, dude. That's where it fucking started. And then we played the last 3 in Florida, so I know about the weather.
You know about the rain.
Yeah. It was super muddy the last day. And then, it was, and what was cool is that we were on the Full Sail, so not a huge stage. But the last day in Warped Tour, we were the last band. I think we played at like, I don't know, I can't remember what time fucking last.
7 or something, 6.
One of the.
We were the last band to close off that stage, so. That's a little
the last band of like the last Warped Tour
to close off the Full Sail stage.
Yeah, it's pretty sick though. Like
in Florida, Full Sail's from there.
I was gonna say the Full Sail stage was actually like decent considering the size. Like they actually did a pretty good job. Like the Monster stage was sick, right? Like had like the tarp thing, but then of the smaller stages, I think the Full Sail stage was like the best one because it was just like they had the most room. All the other stages was like super small, like little truck, and the Full Sail one was like kind of like had like space and shit. I was like,
it was cool.
I was kind of jealous.
I liked it, dude. I liked it a lot. It was so much fun. Oh god. So yeah, I got to play Warped Tour a little bit.
That's cool. You've been touring. You said like for the past 3 years. What's your touring experience? Like where have you gone and how have you traveled? If that makes sense so far with your music.
I was in this band that played Warped Tour called Pavements, and we started tour. I think our first tour was in the UK.
Oh wow!
We went to the UK with this band called The Fame.
Yeah, I love The Fame.
Yeah, good dudes. Oh, the Fame.
Oh, The Fame or The Faint?
The Fame.
Oh, okay, Fame. I never heard.
They're good dudes. They're like really progressive rock, fucking pretty heavy sometimes. But they're from Australia. So we went to the UK for like an 8-day run.
That was your first like tour?
I think so.
You started off in the UK.
The UK is a rad place to tour though.
Yeah,
it's like you can drive to every venue and it's not really that far.
Oh, dude, it was great. I have a great fucking driving story. So we toured in the UK once, came back here, did a sick tour with it's like a 1.5-month tour all throughout the US with Waster. They're on Hopeless Records, and Hold Close, and they're on Hopeless also. And then my brother had a band, and so I brought my brother for a few shows, for a few dates, and it was just the coolest fun. We were on for a 1.5 months, and then went back to the UK for a little run. And so they drive stick over there.
Oh God.
And I'm not a great, and we had a driver, just like our tour manager was our driver, really good dude. And I can kind of get by with stick, but it's also on the wrong fuck at the other side.
Yeah, it's like a mind fuck.
It's I'm not that good at stick, and then you bring it to your left side, it's like, okay, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So we were loading in for this venue, and in the UK, I can't remember which town. It was nighttime at this point. We all loaded in. It was a tight space for the vans to load in, and for some reason they needed our van to move or some shit. And I couldn't find anybody in my band. They were all like, we sound checked already. They were fucking probably flirting with somebody. I don't know. I couldn't find it in my band or my tour manager, and he was the only one that knew how to fucking drive this thing. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna fucking try to drive this.
I got it. Yeah, don't worry. I got it.
I got this thing. And I'm around, like most of the people that were outside trying to figure out, I can't remember what we were trying to do, but they were trying to figure out some situation to get like some other thing in. So I had to move, but they were all people that worked at the venue. And I got in the van, started it, and I'm immediately just like, what the fuck am I doing here? I got so nervous, and then put it in drive, and immediately it like stalled and shit. And I was like, okay, all right. and I immediately give up. And so I think I put it back in neutral or something, and I started hopping out of the van and like turning back. Like I started hopping out of the van and like walking out and like talking to the people behind me. I'm like, I'm sorry, you guys, I can't do that. And they're all screaming and pointing. They're like, oh, put the parking brake on. I turn around and the van starts rolling toward the fucking venue and all these people. And I'm like, oh shit. And I like hop in the van, pull the brake. I'm just like,
like the one that you have to pull up.
Yeah, I pull the parking brake, the e-brake.
Yeah.
And I get out. And the guy's like, would you like me to do it, mate? And I was like, please, yeah. And he takes the key. He's like, you get your driver's license in a cereal box, mate? And I was like, oh my God, I'm a fucking idiot. So yeah, that.
Hey, at least that could have gone a lot worse. Like a lot worse.
It could have. It could have smashed into the venue. It was funny though.
What was your touring? What was it like going on the road for the first time and actually doing the damn thing after, following all these people along? Do you think that your acting career, your career in general prepared you for it, or was it a hard thing to do for you? Or what was the experience like?
Oh, dude, interesting question. So first of all, it was dope, dude. Like sleeping in the van.
Yes.
Farting in the van. It was
worst. Everything in the van.
It was fun when I was the farter, But it was me and my bassist, my photographer, and my tour manager. He and I were the drivers. So we would always switch off. I would drive at night. We would pull over in the snow at a fucking rest stop and sleep, and he would wake up and start driving, and we'd drive to McDonald's and try to get to like the next. So Denver was really fucking far ways away. It was an 11-hour drive, and we had to play like the next day.
Oh God.
Or something like that. Or we had a day off, but like we wanted to spend it in Denver
because we wanted to make the drive in one day. So you had a day off, right? Yeah, we had a day off. So we decided instead of like making a pit stop, we just drove straight from, I think, the night we played, loaded our equipment and drove to Denver, and because we wanted to go to, what's that fucking place in South Park, Casa Bonitas?
I guess Bonitas.
Yeah. We were just like, dude, we gotta get a bunch of weed and go to Casa Bonitas. And so like little things like that, dude. It was just like sleeping in the van and doing it like how I've seen all these fucking documentaries.
The van's the best.
Growing up. It was so much fun. Loading equipment, fucking with the other bands.
It's like the best thing ever. It's like you got to see all these things growing up, and then doing it. You're just like, I kind of had like a similar experience, and just like look around and be like, we're fucking doing it. Dude. And it was the worst stuff. We're like loading in and shit. I'm fucking loading in.
I love loading in. I love that shit so much, dude. I had to help somebody build a stage the other day for a comedy show. And I was like, this is sick. It reminded me of loading in for a stage, my first show. I was
You're like, I got my guitar. Can I play?
Yeah.
Can I? You guys don't need any entertainment here, do you? I mean, I got you guys. It's cool.
You need an opening act?
Yeah. It was fun.
Well, just those things that you can't like explain those to people that are like I remember coming home and like, they're like, so what's it like being on tour? I'm like, it kind of sucked, but it was awesome.
Yeah.
And they're like, what?
It kind of sucked, but it was
What do you mean? I'm like, I fucking loved it. I'm like, yeah, we slept on the floor and shit. And we would like fucking eat gas station food. And they're like, that sounds awful. I'm like, yeah, I know. It's great.
Absolutely, dude.
It's like you feel like those are the moments you're like paying your dues. You're like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, and it would feel wrong to not do that.
Yeah.
You got to earn it. Gas station food is the fucking best, man.
I have an iron stomach now because of that. It's like I can eat like 5-day-old leftovers. I'm like, don't worry, it's fine. Probably not fine.
I was gonna say, like, when you did go on tour, there's all these things you knew about it. When you got out there, was there anything that you were like, wow, I'm actually really good at this thing that's required to do on the road, and I didn't know I was good at this? Or, what surprised you about being actually out there and, other than getting to play music every night? Like, what'd you?
Oh, right. So one, I forgot to answer one question of yours, but it kind of fits in with this one.
Put them all together.
Yeah. What's it like being an actor and then going out onto that road? So I feel like it did kind of prepare me in a weird way. Like I just felt like I knew how to like carry myself in front of a group of people, because like otherwise I would have been really fucking nervous. And sometimes, you know, you do get a little nervous before the show, but for the most part, like
That's normal.
yeah, it was super normal, and so it didn't really freak me out too much, because I felt like I was pretty like relaxed in front of the crowd, you know. So that was cool. Yeah, I felt my work ethic was like was cool, because like me and my homie would drive, we would load in, the other two dudes didn't load in for shit, motherfuckers. And he and I would load in all the time. We would close out. We were just like the business dudes, and that I was like, this is cool, because I realized quickly, because the other two dudes weren't. I was like, fuck, man, you're totally starting a business with your friends at this point, and it's not. I mean, it's fun, but it changes at a point, and that's where I thought was really interesting and kind of new for me.
It's like, did you guys find that like the different people in the band played certain roles better than the others? Like you're saying, was it your bass player that kind of handled a lot of the business? Was there things that like the other dudes kind of had as their responsibilities?
I think me and my bassist had most of the responsibilities. The other two dudes just like would sometimes show up. Like they would always forget shit. Like we were about to go to the airport to go to the UK. He forgot this pedal board that I lent to him, and he lived in Santa Clarita, and he was going to take all of us to the airport. And so I'm just like, you have to now go back, and we had to drive. So he forgot that. We were on our way to play a show in Brixton, right?
Yeah, UK.
I think that's where we were, on the beach. Is there a beach right there?
Brighton.
Yeah.
Pebble Beach.
And he forgot his key for his like guitar case at the. He was
that's
just
the fucking worst.
Yeah, he was just that. It was becoming a thing where like you could just rely on him for that kind of shit. So the other two dudes, me and Kyle, had most of the responsibility, and it was just like business, talking to like the fans, and just taking care of all that shit, and merch, coming up with ideas for merch.
This is in the band Pavements?
This was Pavements, yeah.
Yeah. And so you were in another band after that, right?
Yeah, 5 North. And that's what I am now.
Okay.
But it's I just call it my name. I like got rid of the band name. So
because the most recent thing you did was solo.
Solo project. Yeah.
Yes, it's just solo. Because like my drummer's been in Australia for like the past year and a half for COVID, and
COVID fucked everything up, man.
Fucked really everything up. And I've been writing alone with Feldy, so it just kind of felt right. And most of the decision making is mine. And I was like, I don't know. I go with my gut a lot when it comes to like decisions, when it comes to music and career.
You have to.
And it felt like, I think so too. And it felt like I needed to do some solo shit.
Well, it's also really hard to find, like just hearing you talk about this and how you load it in and do everything, you know, especially when you're on a smaller level. I know you came from, you know, being the main actor of a show, and I'm sure a lot of stuff was taken care of for you. If I'm assuming something wrong, feel free to correct me. But now you're going to what is a band in its starting stages, and you have to do everything. And it's because you care about it so much and you're so passionate about it that you really have to be on the same level as you, or it's going to be impossible for anybody to really, you know, work with you. So sometimes it makes sense to do it solo because you just care about it so much. And it's hard to find somebody else that fits that mold. I don't know.
No, you're right. And no, my bassist, Kyle, he's like the perfect fucking partner.
Hell yes.
And he was super supportive of like doing the solo thing. But that was one thing about being on the road and in the band is the one thing I couldn't get from acting. Remember, I was like, I want to work with my hands. I want to move shit. I want to fucking like be in.
I mean, load in the set. God damn it.
Yeah, dude. So like it was almost not easy for me because, like you said, it was awesome, but it was also awful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like it was still a grind. It was a pain in the ass, but like I loved it. I fucking love.
It does. It scratches like all the things, you know, it's like doing all those things that like, and it's rewarding in a different way too. It's like, you know, like you get to the venue and you're like, I fucking drove here.
Yeah.
Like we've slept in a van on the side of the road and now we're here. And it's like, you get that paycheck at the end, you know, it's like, or you're like, you load out merch and you're like, dude, we sold like fucking $1,000 in merch. We sold like fucking $2,000 in merch. You're just like, this is fucking sick. And
dude.
I just remember like the first couple of times we were out, it was like, we sold like 5 t-shirts in some place and we'd be like dreading going in. We're like, there's no one here.
Yeah.
It's going to suck. We're playing at a fucking restaurant on top of like 4 tables that we have to set up ourselves or whatever. And then it ends up being like the best show ever. It's like in those times, you know, it's like, you're just like, man, this is, you know, you're like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. this is where I'm supposed to be.
It feels good in your gut.
Yeah, exactly.
It does. Yeah, it's so good. I love it, dude. It's so much fun.
Man, fucking COVID came along right as you're like picking up momentum to go and do this. Like,
That's
sounds
okay.
like you're doing it more full time, right?
I mean, yeah, I'm trying to give like the same amount of energy to everything. You know, like the acting has slowed down in the sense where just like I haven't been employed for a while. But I'm doing my own shit. Like I filmed something with my friends last night and just doing random stuff. I'm like trying to sell scripts and I'm just like waiting. My manager and I are like waiting for like the right thing to go to next, you know, but this is a big focus of mine. So the fact that COVID came around, it didn't really like bum me out. Cause I mean, touring would have been dope, but I think like I needed that time to kind of figure some shit out and record and focus on like the plan, you know, but I'm so down to tour. It's not, now I'm ready, you know, now it's at that point. I've played a couple of like, I play with Goldfinger every now and then. I play bass for them.
I saw that.
Goldfinger's like
that's
the
pretty
best.
cool.
It's so cool. It's the coolest fucking thing in the world. So I played at the Roxy with them, and it's like giving me a taste of what
Just
it's
like that. Yeah. Have you like we just had like a talk with our management not that long ago, like maybe like last week, and our manager was like, you know, they're talking about possibly doing shows like in the fall, and they're talking about possibly having tours like kind of the end of this year, and I'm like, the idea of that, like the light at the end of the tunnel, I'm like, okay, all right, I can do this. This is gonna be okay. It's
I know,
like because
right?
it's like us, we've just kind of like refocused. I'm like, I'm on Twitch now, which was fucking so different. It's not the same as playing, like me being a rhythm guitar player. I am not the front man, right? I'm not the person that talks. People on Twitch are like, what's up? I'm Neil. This is fucking weird. Talking to a camera. I don't know. I'm going to play guitar now. I'm not going to talk anymore.
Yeah.
But it's super weird. It's like having to like do these different things. You kind of have to like reevaluate what's going on. And if it wasn't for COVID, I would have probably never learned half this shit about myself. You know, like it causes you to kind of be introspective and kind of like look inside, and you can write new music and you can do all these things that you never had time for. And it's kind of a blessing, I think.
I think so too. Absolutely. Well, you seem very seasoned. You seem like a great host. So,
Thank you.
I don't know if you've gotten lessons since you did that weird awkward Twitch, but you're killing it.
No, I've just forced myself down people's throats until they liked it.
Nice.
A little abrasive, but he's doing. Yeah.
You know, it's like a Twitch. It's like, hi, you keep coming back, so I guess you like my terrible jokes, so I'll just keep making them, and then it'll be fine. Yeah.
That's how you feel.
Dude, when we were on tour with them, like there'd be times like where like I'd look at Mark and he'd say something that was like similar to like the Mark Tom and Travis show, and I'd be like,
damn.
I'm like, don't say it. Don't say it.
Don't say it.
Don't say it. I'd be like, in my mind, I would just like finish of like something like that. You know, it's like, there goes my Asian friend. You know, like at the end of like, what's my age again? And I'm just like, don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it.
Oh my god, dude, that's some restraint right there.
I know.
I don't know if I would have that same.
I'm like ultimate super fan.
I feel you. There's a Blink board right there. Yeah, it's all around. Everywhere you look, there's little Waldo hints of Blink-182 in my life.
Dude, that's the next thing. We're gonna do Blink-182 tour after COVID. We're all gonna be on tour together. It's gonna be fucking great. Adam will be there.
I'll come
We'll
hang
get
out.
Mark to do like we'll let Mark come and we'll be like, Mark, we're gonna play in your band with you, and we're gonna get Tom to come back, and then Matt's still gonna be there, and it's gonna be fucking great.
Alkaline Trio's gonna open too. Just fuck it. Just throw everything together.
It'll be Alkaline Quattro.
Yeah.
Those are four of them.
They bring the guys from Alkaline Trio. He joins Blink too.
Yeah.
We're getting towards the end of our hour, but I had like kind of this is going to be a hard switch real fast. I just had a question that I wanted to ask that I was really interested in learning from you. It's kind of a two-part question.
Hit me.
But I was wondering, when you're acting and you go from acting back to whatever normal life is, I wasn't sure if it was parallel to what we would feel when we go from touring and then have to go back to normal life. Do you have any tips or any routines that you go through to kind of get yourself out of work mode and back into normal life? I don't know. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like
I do.
Yeah.
So with acting, my experience when it comes to acting, so there's like different levels. When you do a movie, it's usually for like maybe 2.5, 3 months at a time, maybe less, maybe a
like
month.
a tour.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a tour, and tour is more intimate. You know, like people kind of segregate themselves on a set. Like it's one of the reasons why I don't like them. They're kind of cliquey. Actors kind of stick with themselves. Blah blah blah. It's not like that on tour, you know. It's really intimate,
Everybody's
especially
together.
with everyone's together. So there's not the same. There's a sense of a small sense of loss when you're done filming a movie. Sometimes you can get really close to a lot of the people, and there's a little bit of that, but it does feel a little bit more impactful when you get off of tour.
Okay.
When you do a TV show, so like I was filming Teen Wolf for like sometimes fucking over 6 months on end.
It's a long tour.
And it's a long fucking tour, and then plus for a bunch of years. But that is fairly like you do feel like you kind of it's conflicting because you're like, fuck yeah, I deserve a vacation. I deserve to not do shit. Yeah. But then after that like week where you're not doing anything, you're like, okay, all right, I'm starting to feel empty inside.
I'm
like
bored.
I'm lost. I'm bored. So and then tour, dude, immediately. Like when I got back from my fucking tour my first tour in the UK for like 8 days, I want to get back there.
Dude, we relate. What'd you do to get through that? Do you have anything that you've like picked up, or is it still kind of a struggle?
So for me, I like to be really creative no matter what I do. That's why I'm in filmmaking, and I edit all of our shit. I film all of our shit. Awesome. You know, I'm always producing. I'm always like cooking with weird things. You know, no matter what I do, I like to be creative. So like when those times happen, I think it's okay to kind of like not try to numb that feeling out, not trying to numb feeling bummed out immediately. Like I think like living with that for a little bit and sitting there and being like, God damn, I miss this. I miss what just happened. But then like, you know, for me, I go back to writing music. I start being creative in other fields, start finding another routine because I was so used to that other routine, you know, but it takes me a while to kind of kickstart that process. I kind of just like need to sulk for a second, you know, cry while I masturbate a couple times.
Those feelings and like kind of redirect them into like whatever else you're being creative with.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you write some good songs about being on tour. Mm-hmm. You know,
it's tough. I mean, that's one of the things too. It's like, I think like, I'm not sure, like working on a television show for 8 years, do you kind of have like the same crew around you, or is it like someone new? Like, are there new people all the time, or do you kind of?
So for Teen Wolf's case, it started in Atlanta, and then we moved to LA, and we brought like a couple of the head members of the crew with us. So those people stayed with us like the entire time. And then we had new people in LA that kind of stayed with us the entire time. And then we had like a couple of people here and there that would like, you know, switch out every now and then, or like get new people to fill in for them. But for the most part, it was like, there was like a decent sized core that remained always. So it was dope.
That's the one thing for us. It's like having those core crew members.
Yeah, dude.
Kind of like keeps me grounded, you know, like you have those days off, you like spend that time together. They become family.
Fuck yeah.
You guys know each other. You learn these different things about each other and do all these different things. It's like, I can't imagine like going to do a movie and then like next movie is like all new fucking people. You're just like, fuck.
Yeah.
I actually don't like that person.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to be with them for 2 months.
Yeah. That's why a lot of people who can, you know, who are like, have enough like credit, they can, like Adam Sandler. I'm sure he just shoots with his homies.
Yeah, dude, he has. That's the life.
You know.
Yeah, it's like he kind of like writes those parts into the movies just so like they can be around.
Yeah,
it's like the coolest thing ever.
It's so cool.
Man,
yeah, respect
that. I always saw like that show Entourage or whatever, and I always like kind of thought that was so cool because I saw so many parallels between that and like what we did. I'm like, man, I just want to roll everywhere with my friends.
Yeah,
I want to do all these things with my friends. Like even if like I gave my best friend, like he's my guitar tech. So it's like just bringing him out on the road. I'm like, yo, you're going to get better at being a guitar tech, but I know you got what it takes to fucking hang out. We're boys. Like we hang, we do everything. It doesn't fucking matter, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like it's like, if you can do that, you're like, that's success to me, you know?
I agree, dude. Yeah. I have a good group of homies that just like, we do everything together. We film, we make music, we fuck around. It's so fucking fun.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, that's the definition of success in my head.
I think so too, dude.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe for the podcast is like, we're trying to teach people how to get on the road, but we're also trying to teach them the values that we think are really important. And so for us, it's like all about, you know, creating a community, creating a team, going out there and like, I don't know if you experienced it in your world or in the music world that you've experienced touring so far, but there's like a lot of older road dogs, or, you know, the old way of doing it's a little more, not so much we, and is more like, I don't know how to explain it, Neil, if you want to
touch. There's some like gatekeeping, like a little bit, you know, and they like have their way of doing it, and it's like, it's our way or the highway.
Right.
Whereas like a lot of like the newer, younger people, it's super inclusive. It's like, hey, let's fucking get this done. Let's work together. Let's not fucking be dicks. Like, let's have fun. Like, we're all here for a reason. Like, whether it's you're making a television show, you're making a movie, you're making an album, you're on tour. It's like, you love what you're doing enough to be there. Let's fucking have fun, be good to each other.
Totally, dude. Yeah, I agree. And I think like I've probably, you know, I've always tried to like take myself out of myself and be like, would I see this some actor trying to like infiltrate the punk world? Would I be like, God damn, fuck this guy, or would I you know like be like listen to like you know the proof because you know I've wanted to I don't want to be that I want to earn whatever presence I'm going to have in this world because like it's been in my life forever. I've been a diehard fan. Unfortunately, I had this acting shit take me away from it. It's also given me this weird sort of like pre-notion of whatever.
Yeah, like, hey, we know that guy from this thing. Now he's trying to do that thing.
It also gave you the proper work ethic needed to make it in this industry.
Dude, that too. Yeah. Being on tour, like I really like I was shining.
This is my shit.
Like, I loved it, you know, it was super humbling and like nothing was below me or below us. And it was just, I really loved it. And if that's,
I'll say this, man, it's like, I think a lot of people, if they did ever have any issue with some actors, whatever, trying to get in here, it's because they're jealous, right? Like they want to be able to like do whatever. Right. But it's like, you know your shit. Like like the fact that you're like, I know you know your stuff because you talk about things that I talk to people about with Blink-182 that they don't know. Like, you're talking about like the fucking van from that. I'm like,
Neil was just testing you at the beginning. He was like, "Oh yeah, do you know your history?"
Yeah,
that's
what he knew, man. He's fucking. It's not even like that.
I'm just kidding.
It's those things like people like real recognize real, you know.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter like what way you got in, and you could have got in like a fucking week ago and been fucking. It doesn't fucking matter, you know. Real recognize real.
Yeah.
Like you see, you're in it for the right reasons, and that's all that matters, you know. And anyone gives you shit, we'll beat them up.
I got friends, dude. You know? I got some scary friends too, man.
I think that was a threat. I mean, that's pretty much sums up the hour for us. We appreciate you being here. Thank you for doing this with us.
No, that was awesome. Yeah, really stoked.
We appreciate, like, I respect your, I don't know many people that come from an industry and being at their place in the industry and can enter another industry so effortlessly. And you were so easy to talk to and book. And I guess maybe it's my own assumptions about people that I've never met before, but I respect your lack of ego. You're just so down to earth. Thanks, took care of it. I don't know. I just wanted to say thank you and that I respect you a lot. And I hope
that's awesome.
I see you on the roads for whatever means coming from me. But I hope we see you on the road sometime sooner. Neil takes you guys go on tour together, and I don't know.
It's gonna be us and Blink. We're gonna go out. It's gonna be Blink reunion tour with Boxcar Racer and
yes. Oh God, Boxcar. I appreciate that, dude. Like part of the reason I wanted to be in the punk world is because I didn't want people to think I was like this fucking, asshole. So I appreciate that. That means a lot.
Hell yeah.
Even coming from you,
Well, before we get going here, and Neil will probably say thanks after me here too, but Neil also has a few last things to request. Just some little fun things you do at the end.
So we've asked everybody that's been on the podcast, in your time out on the road, did you use shower shoes? Whenever you would go and
shower shoes.
When you take a shower, do you wear flip flops or do you just go in bare?
No, I think I wear my slip-ons, my Vans every now and then. But I never had any little flip flops.
Good.
I should have. That's a great fucking idea, though.
Some people swear by them. We hate it.
You're doing it right already.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got strong souls.
I was gonna say I don't know if I want to do that.
Mark Hoppus said he peed in the shower, so. He said he just peed in there before he got in and it was fine. I'm like, yeah, I respect that.
To like disinfect everything?
Yeah, just to clean it or whatever.
He got real technical on us. He's like super, we didn't realize how clean of a person he was till he came on and like told us all of his cleaning habits. And he was like, I can tell you the last dirty thing I touched. That's what he told us.
Like, I don't let anyone touch my microphone. I can tell you the last time someone touched it. And we're like, what do you mean? He's like, no one's touched my microphone in 9 years. And we're like, holy shit, what?
It was pretty funny.
That's awesome, dude. I can see that.
Yeah. I kind of get it. Now that I'm like thinking about it, it's like he was just ahead of the curve on the COVID thing. He's trying to be fucking safe.
You're right, dude. I would have those precautions now.
Now, for sure. It's like, you're not fucking touching my microphone.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah, he was ready.
But the other thing that I need from you, our guitar player, Kevin Scaff, he was gracious enough to record the intro and outro for this podcast. And we asked the guests to kind of send it to Kevin in their own words. So like, for example, it'd be like, yo, Kevin, take it away or something like that.
Yo, Kevin, spin that shit.